And welcome to another edition of the Lowcountry Sports Report. And as always, I'm joined by my trusty sidekick, Justin Jarrett. What's going on, man?
I've been downgraded to sidekick, huh?
No, you're still my favorite co-host. But, you know, a bit of an off-season edition. I mean, obviously, high school sports are pretty much wrapped up, but still a bunch going on. And we're going to go right into weightlifting. CJ Cummings, man. How can you not talk about that guy?
Yeah, I mean, we've got quite a few kids here lately who've been putting Beaufort County on the map nationally and internationally. And CJ certainly has been doing that for a long time, and is currently, you know, he's trying to make it into the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. It's a very complex system to determine that ranking and who makes it. I would be lying if I said I fully understood it, but what I know is that CJ is ranked #1 among all male lifters in all weight classes at this moment. Now, as his coach Ray Jones told me, it's a marathon and the race has just begun. There's a long way to go. His 73 kilogram weight class is probably the most competitive. If you look at those rankings, I think there's like about 12 guys who are in the top 35 in those rankings who are in his weight class. So it's going to be a long grind for him. He's got a lot of international competitions coming up to try to secure that and make sure he gets all those ranking points. But so far, CJ's in a great position to be an Olympian in 2020.
It's truly amazing to say that a local product like CJ Cummings has a really good chance of being an Olympian and doing really good things as an Olympian as well. But now let's go up to another local thing in Beaufort County FC. I've really just discovered this team a couple weeks ago, but we have a professional soccer team on the island.
Yeah, so it's called the Women's Professional Soccer League, the league they play in. It is kind of, I guess you would call it semi-pro, but it's more of like a college summer league type deal. The best comparison probably would be to the Savannah Bananas, you know, where they bring in top-level college players and play a summer schedule. But this is their third season. They've had some success. Mike Houghton doing a good job with them over there, and they've partnered with, I believe, GPS. So they've got some good things going over there, and hopefully they can have some success and just bring more of a spotlight to women's soccer here in the Lowcountry.
One thing I really like about Mike is it's not the fact that it's not only college players on that team. He's also recruited some high school girls. So Hannah from Hilton Head High School, she was on the team. I actually went out there last week and I got to talk to Hannah and Mike and some of the other players, and they really like it, and it's really cool. Mike is dedicated to try to put these players in the next level. You know, I mean, if they really want to play professional soccer and do well in college, they'll go to Mike because, you know, they trust him. I mean, apparently he used to work at player development for Manchester City,
yes.
Which, I mean, if you don't know soccer, that's one of the biggest soccer teams in the world. So it was really cool. I got to pick his brain about that a little bit, and a really interesting dude.
Yeah, he's definitely got some coaching chops, a great pedigree, and he's been doing a good job. He's also the head coach at Hilton Head Christian Academy for the girls team and has done a good job there. So, you know, he's really integrated himself into the local soccer community and is doing some great things to lift the level of play here.
Most definitely. So now we're going to take it over to Hilton Head Christian Academy, where I caught up with the Beaufort County FC.
Well, this is Beaufort County FC. They play in the WPSL, which is the Women's Premier Soccer League, which is the biggest women's soccer league in the world, and it's the second tier of women's soccer in this country. And we've been around a couple of years now. We're in the Carolinas Conference, and the girls are made up from college girls around the country. I have some international players here, and my next stage, which we've started to, is get some local girls involved and just make sure that it becomes a community event.
It's my third season. I absolutely love it. I love the coaching that I receive here. I feel like I've really developed as a player throughout my years here. He really harps on, he's a really good motivator, and he's always about positivity. Even if we do something wrong, he really helps us improve and just makes the right adjustments without being so condescending.
Yeah, well, over the last 2 seasons, I've had, I think it's a minimum of 3 local high school girls. No, it's more. It's probably 4 or 5. High school girls, so I go looking at the girls play. We've got, at the moment, Hannah Stanhope plays for me. She goes to Hilton Head High School. A level of play is right up there. She's getting minutes on the field. I've had Abby Brighton for a couple of years now, who's a local girl. If I can help the local high school girls with their progression and show them the speed of play and have college girls around them so they can ask some questions on and off the field. I just think it's great for their development locally.
I think it's great. It's definitely a way higher level soccer, and the play is just much faster, and these girls are just great to get to know.
I think it's really good for them because a lot of them are pretty good, so it's a good transition for them to come up to the college level. He focuses a lot of on passing. We probably do passing drills. Out of like our 5 drills out of practice, 4 of them are probably passing drills, and it's just really helped my game and be a lot more calmer on the ball and just make quicker decisions.
It is a lot different. There's a lot of people that I don't even know out here, and these girls are from a lot of different places, and when you score, like, you just have like the thrill, and then the team comes at you, and it's just great.
We have our own philosophy where we try and play quickly, we play expansive soccer, we play in a certain way which I've brought over from England, and we're just trying to get them. Sometimes they're out of the comfort zone. Even the college players have said, wow, but by the end of the season we've had some real complimentary feedback from their college coaches when they go back, because the speed of play that we try and get them to play at and the style of play just means they're confident on the ball wherever they are on the field, and it's just trying to get them to play confidently at a very high tempo.
And welcome back to the Lowcountry Sports Report. Justin had a wonderful time over there with the girls, but now let's talk about a little different subject, and we're going to talk about the Beaufort Hustle basketball AAU team.
Yeah, we've got several AAU teams here in Beaufort County now. It's really just risen up in the past couple of years, but Beaufort Hustle, coached by our pal Nick Field over at Beaufort Academy, having some great success. They'd already won a tournament earlier this year. Their varsity boys team, which is junior and senior and high school boys, is having a great season. They've got some studs over there from all throughout the county. Even though they're centered in Beaufort, they got Davis Malloy from Hilton Head High School. They got Jaquan Watson from Whale Branch is playing very well for them. They've got kids from all, as well as Deshaun Martin from May River play for them as well. So they won the championship at the Georgia State Championships up in Marietta, Georgia, Atlanta area this past weekend. I think it's the second championship for that particular team this year. Their 7th grade boys went undefeated in pool play, ended up in the semifinals before they lost to the eventual champs. So they're having some great success there. They hosted that big tournament a couple of weeks ago. They've got another one coming up July 6th and 7th. They're going to host one here in Beaufort and have kids from grades 2 all the way up through 12. It's called the National Tune-Up. So they'll be getting, teams are getting their last tune-up before the USBA National Championships, which are later in July up in Raleigh, North Carolina. So some great basketball being played here in the Lowcountry. Yeah,
that's really cool. I mean, Nick Field pretty much has a little all-star team that he gets to play around with. But Justin, that's going to do it for now. We're going to take a quick little break, but when we come back, Harry Perry's going to be on the show, and we're going to be breaking down some Beaufort County Park and Rec.
There's a smash to right field. That ball is way back. Gone. Nico Lang. So Beaufort County home run shot over the right field.
And welcome back to the Lowcountry Sports Report. Now it's time to do some Park and Rec. And Harry Perry, you're back. What's up, man?
Good. I'm glad to be back, man. I'm glad I got 2 weeks in a row.
I know, right? So really busy time for you guys. You're finally done your spring sports, I understand. I'm sure that's a big load taken off of your shoulders. But just as a whole, how was spring sports for you guys?
Spring sports went really well, as we touched on last week. Flag football, the numbers stayed about the same, but soccer had a huge increase to about 200 more kids. So, wow. Just a little bit hectic near the end of the season, making sure we collect all the equipment, but handing out the trophies to the kids that did win first, second place, or the younger kids that get the participation trophies.
For you, when you get to hand out the trophies, is that probably one of the cooler parts of your jobs because you get to see the excitement on the kids' faces?
We let the coaches do it since they create such a bond with them, and some of the coaches really do a great job. Like even with the younger kids, so under 8-year-old, the kids get participation trophies, but the coaches do a great job of making it feel that it's more than just participation trophy. Right. They'll turn it into, Greg so-and-so is getting this award for, most spirited player or Charlie Hustle award or stuff like that. So just the involvement with the volunteers that we have is great, and it creates good, good culture in center.
Really must allow the kid to really like make memories and something they'll always remember. But now your camps, those are starting too.
Yep.
Are they? Have they already began? Are they about to start? What's up with that?
So this week was the start of our high school lacrosse like combo camp type of thing. I think it's gotten off to a little bit of a rough start with the amount of weather that we've been having this week. Everything's falling from the sky. So, but they're all getting started. Scoops will be starting soon, and then we have the Challenger soccer camp that'll start in a couple weeks, and they're doing a couple different sessions. So it'll be a good time. Then we got our golf going too coming up.
One of the camps that I'm really fascinated with is the Trementa soccer camp you guys have. I mean, from my understanding, some of the players from Trementa FC will be teaching the kids. And, that's an experience that the kids will really benefit. I mean, especially if they're going to soccer, they learn from pros. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get to meet a higher level athlete, even from college level and up, I mean, you just get to see the enjoyment in the kids' face, and they listen just a little bit better than they do from your normal coaches. So it's great that, those guys are taking the time out of their schedule to come down and help out kids to, live their, dreams and stuff.
Most definitely. Now let's switch over to some tournaments that are happening this week. Actually, we have the district tournaments over at Burton Wells, and these tournaments are really important because the winners will go to the state tournaments. So just give us some background about the district tournaments. What are some teams that will be competing in it?
Yep, so we are hosting the AAA Dixie Boys, which used to be known as the Miners, formerly known as Miners, but it's the AAA. They are the 9 to 10-year-old.
Okay.
That will have 2 teams from Bluffton in that, 1 team from Beaufort, and then Colleton and Hilton Head. So there's a total of 5 teams in that bracket, and that's the 9 to 10-year-olds. The tournament goes from Friday all the way to Tuesday, and then running right alongside that is going to be the Ozone tournament. These boys are 11 to 12. There's Colleton, Bluffton only has 1 team, Hilton Head and Beaufort, so there's only 4 teams in that one. It's really exciting stuff. You get to see a lot of high-level competition, and the kids get to really show out in front of their hometowns, because these are local. They're not too far. And then, like you mentioned, then they go on to the state.
So with the Ozone one, the winner of that tournament, my understanding, goes to the Oscar Frazier tournament that we're going to have in a couple weeks here?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so that'll be July 12th through the 18th. There's a total of 12 teams, spread throughout the state. That'll be coming for that. So that'll be the kickoff to our tournament season. So, and then directly following that, we have the Dixie Junior Boys and then the Dixie Boys, which is a total of 24 teams, all comprised from around the state. And this is very high level competition for some of those guys, a lot on the line for them.
So let's just talk about, for the viewers who may not understand, may not be from the area, how cool something like this is. So both of these tournaments in July over at Oscar Frazier, the best players in this group, in this age group from the state will be there. I mean, because the winner will go on to the World Series and stuff. For you guys, is it kind of cool when you're able to do stuff like this and watch good games at the same time and really appreciate the good talent?
I mean, it makes you want to do this job. I mean, you just to see, not only the high level of talent, the good level of baseball, but just the community and sense of everything that it brings together. It really is more than just, 13 to 16-year-olds playing baseball. It's like I said, it's an event. It's an all-day thing. We, ask the community to come out and watch, even if they have nobody in there, just because there's so much going on. Concession stands, food trucks, and high-level games. So.
And I'm sure, the economic impact this must have. All these teams, they have to go to hotels. So a bunch of hotels getting books and restaurants. So I'm sure it's just great for the community as well.
Yeah, it's really good for the town of Bluffton. Especially when you look at, Bluffton itself is growing tremendously.
For sure.
We see it in our sports alone, but, you look at all the other complexes and stuff that they're putting up. So things like that expose the county too and the town. So it's really good for us in our local area.
Yeah, I must say a lot for Beaufort County because every year we have these tournaments, either than be the state tournaments. We've even had World Series a couple years ago. So it's really cool to see that the county puts big events together like this. And now lastly, I understand that you guys are looking for some volunteers and sponsors for these tournaments in July?
Yeah, we're always looking for the community to reach back out and get involved. As you mentioned, the economic impact, but also any type of way to get your name out there or just contribute to the local area is huge. As far as sponsorships, we do a whole bunch of different stuff. So, always reach out to us at the Buck Walter Rec Center. The other thing, as far as volunteers, anybody can come, and we have lots of different positions for people to do it, from handing out, little bags or tickets, all the way up to announcing. So if you got
Right.
if you're feeling pretty good about yourself, you got a good voice, you can get up there and announce some names and have fun with it. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to probably be one of them. I mean, me and Matt Watts, we commentated one game last year until 1:30 in the morning. Wow. That was a crazy time. But no, the County Channel is going to be broadcasting all of these games, so we're looking for anybody who wants to be an announcer, come out. And then even for you guys, I mean, you guys are going to be, I'm sure, all hands on deck, I'm pretty sure, for this event.
Yeah, almost every single one of our employees will be out there, all the way from our part-timers to full-timers, and it's a fun time. It's a lot of work, a lot of hours. Like as you said, sometimes we'll be there till 1:30 in the morning, but it's worth it. Not only just for the excitement of what's going on, but for the kids too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big thing. So, and we're fortunate to have really good facilities that we can host these things. So you can't take that for granted.
Most definitely. So we're all looking forward to this camp. I'm sure it's going to be a very tiring time, but it's going to be a fun time. Harry, man, thank you so much for joining us. But we're going to take a quick little break, but when we come back, JJ and I'll be breaking down some more local sports. And welcome back to the Lowcountry Sports Report. Justin, the show's just flying by, but still got some big news. And let's go into coaches. A lot of coaching changes so far, especially in boys basketball. There's been like 3 or 4 different coaching changes.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time that you expect to have some turnover in the coaching positions in the high school ranks, as people are looking for different jobs outside the area and things like that. But it's been wild. We've had 4 out of the 12 local high schools that we cover at locosports.com have seen new boys basketball coaches come in. You've got Jeremy Huff at Beaufort High, CJ Brown at Battery Creek, an alumni, coming back, so that's cool. Shane Brown taking over at Hilton Head High. He was the assistant under Ken Updike, and now he's going to be the head coach. And then Travis Priddy at Hilton Head Christian Academy, a guy who's been around the Savannah private school ranks for a few years, so an experienced coach coming in there. John Paul II has had quite a few changes, actually. They announced their new baseball coach a couple weeks ago. Then they announced their new football coach, Chris Myers, coming down from Dorchester Academy. And then just this week, Matt DeColios announced that he's stepping down as the AD and boys soccer coach and moving up to Virginia. So
it's a whole new team, whole new school.
Yeah, I mean, they've turned over a lot of staff there. Mac Tamminen, who they hired as their boys basketball coach from Hilton Head Christian Academy last year, is going to take over. He was an assistant AD. He'll be the new AD. And then the new football coach, Chris Myers, will be the assistant AD. So a lot up in the air, and I'm sure there will be a few more coaching changes coming down the pike in some of the less visible sports as the summer rolls along here.
That's definitely something that we're going to have to keep in track. But there's a big wrestling camp going on, and you have a big involvement in that, I understand.
Yeah, actually, I came straight from wrestling camp today to come film the show. But yeah, I mean, we've talked in the past about Lowcountry Wrestling Club that I founded along with Chad Cox, who's the principal at Battery Creek and former wrestling coach there. We're just a small part of a group of people who are trying to get that sport a little bit more traction here in the Lowcountry. And my friend David Romine is running a camp over at JP2 this week. And then there's going to be another one at May River High School coming up next month, as well as one at Bluffton High School. So it's great to see some opportunities for kids to get exposed to that sport, and hopefully we'll have a lot more kids on the wrestling mats here in Beaufort County.
So I was out there yesterday watching you part of this, and it was really cool. I was really interested by it. It was really cool that Coach David was able to teach these kids at a really young age the different techniques and stuff. So just a little background information on David. What was he? Was he like a wrestling coach somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, David was a high school wrestler growing up in Alabama, and we're now back. He's down here now. He's a firefighter, volunteer assistant at John Paul II, and just really wants to see, just like us, see the sport grow in the Lowcountry. So he's holding this camp for the first time, trying to get more kids on the mat.
It was also really cool that the JP2 wrestling team, the boys, were out there assisting in this. Their coach was out there, and that's where we're going to go to right now. We're going to go catch up with David Romine and some of the JP2 wrestlers.
Actually our first year of Lowcountry Wrestling Camp. We have kids from kindergarten all the way to 6th grade coming in just learning the basics of wrestling. Justin Jarrett actually told me a couple years ago that a few parents wanted me to do a camp and that I should do the camp. And I really didn't think much of it. I actually didn't think there was a lot of kids that wanted me to coach the camp. And I started up on Facebook one night, and all of a sudden in 12 hours I had over 50 people messaging me about this camp and wanting their kids. The bad part was that a lot of high school kids wanted to be involved, but I had substantially more younger kids. So I ended up going with the younger kids, and I plan on doing one for the high school kids later on.
Well, you know, wrestling's not one of those sports that kids are exposed to. Usually early on, you don't have the baseball leagues, football, basketball kind of thing. So anything we can do to get kids on the mat early on is a plus for the sport.
Because a lot of kids come in 7th, 8th grade, they don't know anything about wrestling, so it's hard to really hone skills after they're so much older. So in 7th, 8th grade, it's going to take until 9th, 10th grade before they actually have the fundamentals. At this age, you get them so young, they learn the fundamentals, they understand what's going on, they have the stance, they have everything that they need to know going into wrestling.
I believe that this sport defines character a lot and will definitely help you further down the road of life. And so these kids, I think the oldest person is about 10 years old, and I think that it is good that they're starting wrestling now, so that they know the basic fundamentals, so when they go into like here, if they come here and join our wrestling team, then they will be able to build off of those moves and get better.
Coach Romine's done a tremendous job putting the whole camp together, getting the assistants to come in to help him out. You know, the drills, he's teaching these kids basics, which fundamentals, you know, carry you through all the way through collegiate wrestling and Olympic wrestling. Because if you watch NCAA finals, you're going to see those guys, a lot of what they're hitting are moves they've learned early on and just perfected year after year after year. So what Dave's teaching here is going to help these kids their entire career.
I like this sport not only because of the coaches, but because of the people. They are so kind, and they will take the time to teach you different moves to get you better. They definitely help us get better by not only pushing us to our limits in fitness and stuff, but they push us over the limits, which helps us get a lot better and strive.
We are coaching wrestling, but it also is for them to have fun. I mean, if they don't have fun, they're not going to want to learn. They're not going to learn, they're not going to be good wrestlers. So, I mean, it comes together.
And welcome back to the Lowcountry Sports Report. Had a wonderful time at the wrestling camp. But now, Justin, we're going to talk about a sport that we really haven't talked to you that much about on the show, and that's football. Can't believe we're almost there. It's almost football season. There's a pretty big camp in Savannah last week, and actually Cam Newton, star quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, had his football camp in Savannah.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of those 7-on-7 camps, which has really become the big thing. I mean, you know, you talk about a lot how there's no off season anymore. That's certainly become true with high school football. They maybe get a little break in the winter, but they get back after it. Spring practice. As soon as they're done with spring practice, they're hitting 7-on-7 camps in the summer, getting the quarterback and skill position players more work and the DBs, and then the next thing you know, it's August and it's time for camp to open, and football season is upon us. So we're, I mean, just over 2 months away from kicking off the season, the high school season. So they're getting their work in right now and trying to get ready for another great season here in the Lowcountry.
I'm so excited for it. You know, over the past couple of years, I was pretty much able to cover almost every sport in this area, and nothing beats Friday nights, being on the field, being in the action. I mean, I've almost been hit like 6 or 7 times trying to film, but you know, it's all right. It's a lot of fun, and you know, there's great talent in this area. You know, May River and Hilton Head High School, Bluffton, great performances, and I'm excited, man. I'm so excited.
I mean, you're right. There's nothing like it. The atmosphere on Friday night. You know, Buford High School's always had a great atmosphere. Bluffton, I think when Ken Cribb came in, he really rejuvenated the Friday Night Lights atmosphere there at Bluffton. May River has kind of copied some of the things that they were doing in Bluffton and created a great atmosphere there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of good football being played. Some of the teams that have been downtrodden over the years are starting to come up, and we're going to have some pretty competitive teams this year, I think.
We're going to definitely have a wonderful time covering that just in a couple months, but that's going to do it for us today. Justin, thank you as always for coming on the show. But until next time, thank you for watching the Lowcountry Sports Report.
Hey, I'm Josh Reddick, World Series champ, and you're watching the County Channel.
The County Channel is also available on video on demand. Go to BeaufortCountySC.gov, scroll down to Public Meetings, click Watch Now, and then click the Video on Demand button and select your program from the list.
Call the meeting to order.
If you'd like a DVD of this program, click on the link on the right and fill out the order form. And thank you for watching the County Channel.
Okay, so this is a beautiful wetland right here. It has cypress trees, it has tupelo trees. There's a tremendous amount of vegetation on the surface, buttonbush around. I mean, it's a beautiful place for reptiles and amphibians. So we have a bunch of these smaller hoop turtle traps. Let's check some of these and see what we got. Let's pull this one up. You can see there's so much vegetation here. A bunch of turtles. There's several turtles in here. We actually may have a couple different kinds, or at least we'll just have to check and see. Get a couple of these out. Looks like we only have one kind of turtle. And what we have are stink pot turtles. In fact, great scientific name, Sternotheris odoratus, or stink pot. And these guys really smell. And they get the name stink pot because they have sort of a musk gland that gives off this odor. In fact, another common name for them is musk turtle. These things have strong jaws, and look at the sort of hooked beak, kind of like that snapping turtle. Join me for Coastal Kingdom on the County Channel.